त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सन्मोहितं देवी समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना विमुक्तिरेतुः from Chunji. O Mother, thou art the great primal energy, the source of infinite strength. Thou art the seed of the world and illusion divine. Thou hast enchanted the whole universe, O Goddess Supreme, by thy deluging charms. And yet, being propitious, thou bestowest liberation upon human beings. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace be unto all. This morning our subject is two aspects of the Divine Mother. This is our anniversary service of the Divine Mother, Durga. Every year on this auspicious day, we perform ritualistic worship. Many people, many devotees would come. They would offer flowers to the mothers and have prasad. But this year, due to this corona, we cancelled our ritualistic worship. We are very sorry and sad about it, because all the year round, many people wait for this auspicious day to come to the mothers to celebrate this festival. What to do, it is not in our hands. Day before yesterday, when I was reading the Chanji, there I found a word called Mahamari, epidemic. Otimari, pandemic, in the Holy Scripture. It is amazing that how our ancient literature talked about it. I shall read those two verses to you. Mahakalya Mahakale Mahamari Sarupaya. I shall not read the whole Sanskrit. By her, the Mahakali, who takes the form of the great destroyer at the end of time, at this cosmic sphere pervaded, she indeed takes the form of the great destroyer of the proper time. She, the unborn, indeed becomes this creation at the time proper for recreation. She herself, the eternal being, sustains beings at another time. Mahamari Sharupaya, Saiva Kale Mahamari. So she just brings destruction through this Mahamari. I don't know what this destruction means. So many people died all over the world due to this pandemic. We do not know what is in the divine plane of the divine plan of the Divine Mother. It reminds me a vision of Sri Ramakrishna. One day he was seated under the Panchabochi tree. He saw a beautiful woman came from the Ganges and came in front of him, very beautiful woman. And then she became pregnant. Then she gave birth to a baby. Then she again swallowed that baby and again entered the Ganges. That vision convinced Sri Ramakrishna this whole creation, preservation, destruction are done by the Divine Mother. It is amazing, that vision. When the world is devastated, we pray. We pray to the Divine Mother. When a child is in trouble, first cries out, Ma, not Father. Even gods are also pray to the Divine Mother when they are in trouble. Those things we shall talk about it. Now, who is this Divine Mother? In the beginning of the Chonji, the glory of the Divine Mother was described by sage Medas to King Shurat. King Shurat asked, who is this Divine Mother you are talking about? Medas replied, I shall read a little bit so that you will get the original taste of the scripture, Chonji. The king asked, O Rishi, who is that Devi? Devi means goddess, whom you call Mahamaya. How did she come into being? First question, who is that divine Devi? Second question, how did she come into being? Third question, what is her sphere of action? O Brahmin. Fourth question, what constitutes her nature? Fifth question, what is her form? Sixth question, where from did she originate? All that I wish to hear from you. 6 questions. Sage Medas replied, she is eternal, embodied as the universe. By her all this is pervaded. Nevertheless, she incarnates in manifold forms. Hear it from me. When she manifests herself in order to accomplish the purposes of the gods, she is said to be born in the world, though she is eternal. At the end of the cycle, when the universe was one ocean with the waters of the deluge, and the adorable Lord Vishnu stretched out the sea and took to mystic slumber, too terrible, then the story begins. So, in the beginning, he put all 5 questions in these few verses. And then he says, but the whole Chonji will tell you who is she. Very interesting. We want to know who is this Divine Mother, Shakti, behind this creation, preservation and destruction. The first part of the Chonji is the destruction of 2 demons called Madhukaitava. The story goes, Vishnu was in Ananta Shayana, sleeping in cosmic dissolution, no creation, and the Divine Mother was on her eyes, put Vishnu into sleep. Now Brahma originated from the navel of the Vishnu, And Madhu and Koichava, two demons came out from the ears of the Vishnu and tried to kill Brahma. At that time, Brahma praised the Divine Mother, please awaken Vishnu, otherwise these two demons will kill me. So, you see, even Brahma, the creature, is praying Vishnu, Divine Mother, to awaken Vishnu. So, Divine Mother awakened Vishnu, and then Vishnu's anger came, and he fought with these two demons 5,000 years. They exaggerate in the. And then again this Divine Mother deluded these demons. The demon says, "O Vishnu, we are very pleased with your fight. Ask boons from us." "Oh, you want to give a boon? Both of you should be killed by me." It is the Divine Mother turned their minds for destruction, for themselves. So Vishnu, then they said, well, you can kill me where there is no water, because whole universe was covered with water. So Vishnu raised his thigh and put these two demons on it and took his discus and killed both of them. That is the first story in the Chonji, where then Brahma prayed to the Divine Mother. That prayer is very, very beautiful. Tvam swaha, tvam swada, tvami pashatkara saratmika. I shall not read that prayer. 3 times we see beautiful prayers to the Divine Mother in the Chonji. When Madhukaitava died, when Mahishasura died, when Shumba Nishumba died, how gods praised the Divine Mother. To me, those 3 prayers are the quintessence of the Chonji. Who is Divine Mother? People think Divine Mother was someone like Superwoman, but she is the embodiment of energy of different gods. Again, the story goes, Mahishasura occupied heaven and earth, and gods are banished. So the gods went to Brahma, and Brahma said, well, let us go to Vishnu. So Vishnu and Shiva are there. So they reported that how the demons Mahishasura occupied heaven and creating a chaos all over the creation. Please do something. So Vishnu became angry. And from all the gods' bodies, energy was released. And how that energy took that Divine Mother's form, that I shall read to you. It is very interesting, very interesting. Teja. Teja means, the Chonji translated light. Actually, it is the tremendous power of energy. Having these words from the Devas, Vishnu was angry, and also Shiva, and their faces become fierce with frowns. Then issued forth a great light with the Tej, energy, from the face of Vishnu, who was full of intense anger, and from that Brahma and Shiva too. From the bodies of Indra and other Devas also sprang forth a very great light. And all this light united together. The Devas means gods, saw there a concentration of light, like a mountain blazing excessively, pervading all the quarters with its flames. Then that unique light produced from the bodies of all the gods, pervading the 3 worlds, with its luster combined into one and became a female form. That is Mother. We have very poor knowledge about Mother. We think it is a weak woman who gives birth to some children and does the household duties. Look who real Mother is. Again, I was amazed here, observing the imagination of the great sages, that how that light made this beautiful form of the Divine Mother Durga. Please listen. By that which was Shiva's light, her face came into being. By Yama's light, her hair. By Vishnu's light, her arms. And from moon's light, her two breasts. By Indra's light, her waist. By Varuna's light, her shanks and thighs. And by earth's light, her hips. By Brahma's light, her feet came into being. By sun's light, her toes. By Boshu's light, her fingers. By Kubera's light, her nose. By Prajapati's light, her teeth. By Agni's light, her three eyes. The light of the two Sandhas became her eyebrows. The light of Vayu, her ears. The manifestation of the lights of other gods too formed that auspicious Devi. That light formed this female form. Not only that, they did not stop there. They wanted to give weapon to this deity, this Devi, the Durga, so that she could kill this Mahishasura, which represents anger, lust. Listen again how these weapons are given to the Devi. The bearer of Pinaka, means Shiva, drawing forth a trident from his own trident, presented it to her. So Shiva gave the trident, Vishnu gave the discus, Varuna gave conch, fire god Agni gave spear, Maruta gave a bow, as well as two quivers full of arrows. Indra gave thunderbolt and an elephant. Yama gave staff of death. Varuna, the Lord of Waters, a noose. A Brahma, the Lord of Beings, gave string of beads and water pot. The sun bestows his own rays. So many. Vishwakarma gave the brilliant axe, weapons, and various forms, and also impenetrable armor. The ocean gave her a garland of unfading lotuses for her head, and another for her breasts. Besides a very beautiful lotus in her hand, the Himavat, the mountain, Himalayas, gave her a lion to ride on so that she can fight, and various jewels. The Lord of Wealth gave her a drinking cup, because when she will fight, if she is thirsty, she will drink. Sesha, the Lord of the serpents, supports this earth, gave her a serpent necklace, bedecked with best jewels. In this way it goes on and on and on. And when first they release the energy, then from different bodies they form that female body, the Divine Mothers, then they gave all weapons, and then she went to fight with Mahishasura. Beautiful imagination. Now we see that the Divine Mother not a weak woman. In the Devi Shukta, we find the Devi, the goddess, telling the people, Yam yam kamaye tam tam ugram karumi krinomi tam brahmanam tam rishim tam sumedham. Beautiful mantra. Listen, if I wish, I make people great, prosperous. I make Brahma, I make Rishi, I make brilliance of the all brilliant human beings. They all come from my Shakti. That is Divine Mother. All beings, both men and women, gods and demons, birds and beasts, all originate from the Divine Mother, Shakti. That is the position of Vedanta. And that Shakti is the power of Brahman, Vaishnavi Shakti. With this power, Brahman creates, preserves, destroys. This Shakti is called Shagun Brahman. This Shakti is called Ishvara, God. This Shakti is the Divine Mother. Same thing, has many names. This Shakti has three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva is goodness, Rajas is bad, Rajas is activity and Tamas is bad. This energy are not two kinds of energy. Energy is one, but there are various manifestations of energy. We do not see the energy, but we see the action, the manifestation of energy. We do not see electricity, but we see the manifestation of electricity through light, through fan, through all these things come from electric power. We cannot function without electricity nowadays. Vedanta describes same energy. When it is high tide, we call it good. When it is low tide, we call it bad. Same fire, when it cooks your food, it is good. When that fire burns your house, that is bad. Same fire. That is the way we explain this energy. How you will use this energy. Sri Ramakrishna said, with the light of the sun, somebody reads the scriptures and somebody forces somebody's wills. Just see, all same light. Some religions have problems. They could not reconcile this good and evil. They put all good comes from God, all bad comes from Satan. All evil comes from the Satan. The two energies. God makes everything good and Satan makes everything bad. This good and evil have been reconciled in the symbol of Kali in Hinduism. With two hands, good, and two hands, destruction, evil. Perhaps you have seen the image of the Divine Mother Kali. In right side, one hand she is giving boon and showing fearlessness. And to the other hand, you will see the savage edge and the sword. With one side he destroys, and the another side he creates. But it has many other meanings also. That savage head means that if you really want the mother, you give your head. Head is the most important part of your body. And second, that sword represents that she can cut your Maya. Symbol of Kali. Let me tell you a little bit about the symbol of Kali. Some people seeing that Indiana Jones movie, they think Kali is terrible. You will see the Mundamala, the garlands of heads. 50 heads are there. Those heads represent Jnana Shakti. Our knowledge comes from our brain. So those heads represent knowledge. And there are 50. 50 means 50 letters of Sanskrit alphabet. That means logos, the whole sound system. Shabda Brahmani Nishnata. This whole creation came from that sound. That sound is Shakti of Brahman. Then we find Kesh, hair. Mother has long hair, which you cannot see her body, which came from the god of death. So front portion you cannot see, back also you cannot see. That's a life and death. It is a great mystery, mother's hair. Another interpretation, that mother's each hair is one jiva. So all human beings are connected with the mother all the time. These are all symbols of the Hindu mythology. Her body complexion, dark. That is this symbol of infinite. Sri Ramakrishna says, I see blue Pacific from Laguna Beach. Actually, there is no blueness there. From a distance you can see. You can see blue sky. Actually, you go there is no color. That is the color of the mother. Then you see some severed hands around her waist. We call it mekhala, girdle. Do you know what does it mean? It means karma. We work through our hands. So these are the hands. So mother represents the karma, and she gives the result of karma fall. Both comes from the mother. She has 3 eyes, sun, moon, and the fire. She gives light to this whole universe. And she knows the past, present, and future of the universe. Pinonnato, payodharam. She has protruding breasts full of milk. That means she nourishes all beings. That is her Palan Shakti. And those who are seekers of God, they get nectar from it. Her red tongue represents Rajaguna, and white teeth represents Sattva-guna. That means you control your rajas by Sattva. And Shiva is below her feet, that is consciousness. And Shakti, mother, is standing there. So Shiva and Shakti are inseparable. Shakti, Shaktiman, Abheda. Without Shakti, Brahman cannot create. And Brahma, Shakti cannot do anything without consciousness. So you will have to understand, Shiva and Shakti, Brahman and Maya are inseparable. Just like milk and its whiteness, fire and its burning power, which was told by Sri Ramakrishna. So in one side we see Karala Vadana, Karala Drangstra, Samannita, when she looks terrible. In another side, Sukha Prasanna Vadanam, Smaranana Saruruham. Her face is joyful, calm, smiling. So we see both sides of the mother. How is it possible? Reconciliation of good and evil. In the Brahma Sutra, we repeat the 4 first aphorisms. Atato Brahma Jigyasa, now we shall inquire about Brahman. How shall we know Brahman? Where is Brahman? Janmadesya Jata, the whole creation came from that Brahman. But how shall we know about these things? Shastra Jonitvat. You will have to know from the scriptures. Well, the scriptures speak all different things. Then 4th aphorism, Tattu Samannayat. Though all Upanishads speak different stories, different teachings, But their main goal is to speak about Brahman. There everything merges. So we find Brahma is praying to Devi. Mahavidya, Mahamaya, Mahamedha, Mahasmriti, Mahamohaja Bhavati, Mahadevi, Mahasuri. This is Mahavidya. This is great wisdom. And Mahamoha, again great delusion, ignorance. Mahadevi, she is the great goddess. Mahasuri, she is also the represents destruction. Amazing how these two contradictory things merge into that one symbol, the Divine Mother. There is one word in the Chonji is very sweet and very meaningful. Chitte kripa samara nishthurata cha drishta. I shall read 2 verses, then you will understand what I mean. When Mahishasura was killed, the gods are praising the Devi. O Devi, your nature is to subdue the conduct of the wicked. This your peerless beauty is inconceivable for others. Your power destroys those who have robbed the Devas of their prowess, and you have thus manifested your compassion even towards the enemies. What is your prowess to be compared to? Where can one find this beauty of yours, most charming, yet striking fear in enemies? Compassion in heart and relentlessness in battle are seen, O Devi, O bestower of boons, only in you in all the 3 worlds. Chitte Kripa, when she was killing the demon Mahishasura, piercing his chest with a spear, her heart was full of love and compassion and feelings. But her action shows that she was cruel. She knows she is killing her own son. The demons are all her children. How is it possible? Hindu scriptures give a beautiful example. Lalune tarune matur ak arunnam na vidyate. If a mother spanks her ill-behaved children, that does not show that she was cruel. Please listen very carefully. If the mother spanks her child so that the child should be well-behaved, it does not mean that she is cruel. But don't try these things in this country publicly. I heard that somebody spanks her children in the parking lot of a grocery shop, and somebody called the police. The woman was arrested, and the child was taken to a daycare center, to an orphanage. Mother sometimes gives us a good lesson so that we will be good. Chitte kripa samaranishturata. Sometimes mother gives us trouble, pain, suffering, disease, this and that. It is because of our karma. She is destroying the karma through our bodies, through sufferings go through the body. We cannot help. It is all karma. Sometimes we think of good and evil. Why did not God make everything good and beautiful, everybody rich and healthy? Some people think that kingdom of heaven will come, this is the earth, and this everything will be good and no bad. That will never happen. Because it is the domain of Maya. Let me tell you, I wrote down some of my points that how will it happen if everything becomes good. If all people are good and honest, we don't need any police. We don't need any court for judgment. If all people are healthy, there will be no hospital, no doctors, no medicine. If all people are illumined and desireless, there will be no shopping mall. Economy will fall. If no desire for money, Wall Street will be closed. If all think alike, there will be no philosophy. We will be like Egyptian mummies. We shall look each other eternally. If there is one party, there will be no debate of the presidents. If there is one prophet, then there will be no other religion. If all men and women look alike, will be like robots, boring. All men, all women look alike. They are all produced in the factory. If only one model of car in this country, it will be boring. If there is one kind of food, well, if whole America, only McDonald's and only hamburger, no other food. No French fry, no Kentucky Fried Chicken. Only hamburger. Boring. It should be boring. If there is only Miss Universe once and she thinks that my beauty and my youth will remain forever, it will never happen. There will be no other universe who will be able to contest. If there is no death, only life, this whole universe, whole America will be full of old nursing homes. If all homes look alike, it will be boring. We see sometimes condominiums, they are like matchboxes. It reminds me of a story. Sita told Rama, Holy Mother told this story. Sita told Rama, Rama, there are so many poor people in this country, please open your treasury and help and let them be rich. Rama says, my dear, it is not proper, it will not work that way. Well, no. I don't want to see the sufferings of people. Please give all the money of the treasury to these poor people. So they are all, Rama says, all right, my dear, I must obey you. So he gave money. In the meantime, there was a leak in Rama's palace and water was falling on his bed. Then Sita says, Rama, please repair it. But then who will repair? There is no roofer. All are rich. Then Sita understood and said, all right, bring the whole world as it was. What I wanted to tell you that there is variety, diversity, are the play from the Maya with these three gunas. Divine Mother does all these things. Only whiteness cannot make a photograph. You need black and white. You need various colors. That comes from the three gunas of the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother has two departments, Vidya Maya, Avidya Maya. Through Vidya Maya, she will turn our minds toward God, through a spiritual path. And through Avidya Maya, She will divert our minds toward the worldly desires, fulfill the kamini kanchan, lust and goal. So all both Vidya and Avidya both come from the same source, our Divine Mother. Some people think Maya is bad, but Maya is not bad. Maya is both good and bad. I shall read to you Swami Adbhutananda Latu Maharaj's interpretation of Maya and freedom. There was one man, his name was Biharilal Sarkar. He was a judge of Calcutta court. His grandson was very fond of me. He used to come and see me. So Biharilal was very devoted to Latu Maharaj. As you know, Adbhutananda was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He had no education, but he was an Vara Brahman. I shall read to you. It will clear your understanding about this Maya. Biharilal Sarkar. Maharaj, we read in the scriptures that God is man's inner guide. If that is true, then why does man suffer so much? How can one who is guided by the ever pure Sachidananda get involved in evil actions? Latu Maharaj, you have answered your own question. The essential nature of man, which is ever pure, cannot be polluted by good and evil. Bihari Babu, then do you mean that man has two natures, one affected by good and evil and the other not? Or are you saying that good and evil do not really exist? Latu Maharaj, let me explain. Sri Ramakrishna said, good and evil exist and they are also non-existent. As long as God keeps the sense of ego in a man, he will perceive duality, good and evil. When God takes away the sense of ego, the perception of duality, good and evil, disappears. So long as a man is subject to the law of karma, he is aware of good and evil. When, through God's grace, a man is released from the bonds of karma, the man's awareness of good and evil also goes. For good and evil are the fruits of karma. As you sow, so you reap. It is the Lord who established this law of karma for the benefit of the world and mankind. Divine providence has given man the sense of free will and the principle of karma. It is left to man to do as he wishes. If he chooses to do actions which bring him less happiness and more misery, he alone is responsible, not God. Bihari Babu. But Maharaj, the scripture says that God is guiding man, so the responsibility is God's, not ours. Latu Maharaj, yes, the scriptures are right. It is the responsibility of the operator, not the instrument. But tell me, who is guiding the individual soul? Who is bound by Maya? Maya herself is acting as the operator. Do you know the nature of Maya's game? She loves to play and wants to play always. She enjoys ups and downs, pleasure and pain, creation and destruction. She loves to raise waves of desire in the mind and does not like to still them. But God takes change of the soul, which is not bound by Maya. When God guides a man, and an uninterrupted current of happiness, peace, and bliss flows in his mind, and no other wave of thought can be raised there. He becomes one with that unfathomable, waveless ocean of Sachidananda. Bihari. Yes, Maharaj, I know the scriptures have compared Brahman with the ocean and Maya with the waves of his purpose. Now let me ask, what is the difference between the waves and the ocean when both are water? In that case, would not being guided by Maya and being guided by God be the same? Latu Maharaj. Yes, from one point of view they are the same. But there is another point of view too. The master used to say, the waves belong to the ocean and no one can say that the ocean belongs to the waves. Similarly, Maya belongs to God, but Maya is not God. So you cannot say that being guided by Maya is the same as being guided by God. Nevertheless, the ultimate purpose of Maya's guidance is certainly to take the individual soul to God. Maya is forcing us to go to God, giving us sufferings. Don't go that way, come this way. Bihari Babu. But everybody says that Maya deludes the individual soul and leads him astray. Latu Maharaj. Maya wants to play constantly because Maya's play goes on and on. Man cannot see where he is being taken on his journey. So he thinks Maya is taking him in the wrong direction. But look, how can you misdirect us? Is not God everywhere? Maya has become manifest of God's will and she is working for him. Bihari Babu, what? Maya is working for God? Latu Maharaj, yes. What other motive can she have? Bihari Babu, but the scriptures describe Maya as illusory and world bewitching. She makes the unreal appear to be real, and her main concern is the delusion of mankind. Latu Maharaj, do you know why people say so? The scriptures speak harshly against Maya because she has qualified the unqualified Brahman. That is the greatest statement. Maya makes the infinite finite. That is the problem. And there is another reason. God alone is real. Maya, by comparison, is unreal, illusory. But Maya is unreal only in relation to God. From man's standpoint, Maya is avidya, ignorance, which is neither real nor unreal. If you can watch Maya carefully, you will see that she is pushing man toward God step by step. With the one hand, she is deluding man. With the other, she is unveiling consciousness before him. She works in a balanced way, without any motive of her own. She balances both happiness and misery, both goodness and evil. Do you know the intention behind all this? To teach us. If Maya's purpose was to lead man astray, she would show us only one aspect, not both. We know from the Katha Upanishad, Shreyo, Preyo, these two paths in front of us, the path of good and the path of pleasant. The wise people take the path of good and the ignorant people take the path of bad. But because Maya shows us two aspects, she simultaneously deludes and enlightens. True, she causes man much trouble and her path is very roundabout and time-consuming, but eventually it will lead one to God. After you suffer repeated blows and much torment in this world and come to understand Maya's ways, Maya won't be able to hold you anymore. Then you will be released by her Shaktic power. That is why she is called the one who makes the impossible possible. Aghatana ghatana potyushi Maya. Bihari Babu. Does Maya have a benign power too? Latu Maharaj. Certainly. Maya is God's power. And can that power be all bad? Bihari Babu. Maharaj, from the way you are talking, Maya seems to be something great. Latu Maharaj. Yes, that is true. Maya is great and that greatness is God himself. The other day a monk explained it. Anyhow, he explained different kinds of vidya. So, it is a beautiful explanation between, it is in the book, How a Shepherd Boy Became a Saint, in that book. It explains how the divine Maya, divine mother, plays. Divine mother has two aspects. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, being a snake I bite, and being a doctor I remove the poison. sometimes people are in this world are so deluded. They do not want to think about God. They are busy with their world, to fulfill our desires. Those who have no relatives, they have a lot of pets. I remember in one devotee in Hollywood offered me, "Well, Swami, I have 13 cats. Do you like to have some?" I said, "Well, I cannot handle myself. You are my books. I cannot have. I don't need any more pets. Thank you." But don't think that I do not like pets. I saw in Santa Barbara some nuns have beautiful dogs. One nun has a dog named Neti. Early in the morning, when they will throw newspaper on the near the streets and the gate, Neti will bring the newspaper and bring the breakfast table in the convent. And there was another nun has a dog named Tasha. So one day I was teasing her, "Why don't you give a mantra to your Tasha so that in the next life she would be a nun in the Santa Barbara convent?" "Oh, Swami, you give the mantra." "But I cannot give. I know Indian mantra. That Tasha needs the American mantra." But do you know what happened? At that time I did not understand. One day she came and told me, "Swami, I put Tasha to sleep." But that is good. I thought put to sleep means he has insomnia. She gave some medicine, so dog got good sleep. Later on, some people explain put to sleep means that dog has some trouble and is very sick, so she put the dog to death through injection. Anyhow, so I did not know these American words. I just came to this country at that time. I was new. So in my lecture I mentioned, American language is so sweet and beautiful. Somebody will tell me, "Swami, I put my husband to sleep." And all audience laughed. Vidya Shakti, Avidya Shakti. Sri Ramakrishna says the science of Vidya Shakti, they eat less, sleep less, they have less worldly desires, and Avidya Shakti just reverse. Sometimes God gives too much wealth and diverts our minds from God to the world. The Divine Mother also plays with the monks also. Some Sattvic monk, Rajasic monk, Tamasic monk. Monks are also various kinds. If a Tamasic monk, if you do not give them good food, they will be mad at you. Rajasic monk, Tamasic monk always love some comforts. They are also monks. They are a little selfish. Rajasic monk will open hospital and big temples and raise money. Sattvic monk, deeply spiritual, meditative, well versed in the scriptures, give classes to the people. Anyhow, there are many kinds of monks. I remember one monk was telling me, some monks are fried with oil, some are fried with ghee, and some are fried with ghee and soaked into syrup. There are three kinds. In which group do you want to go? Tele bhaja means fried with oil. That is cheap monks. Just they are busy for their pilgrimage, and only they think about themselves too much. And Rajas, as I already mentioned, they want name and fame, build big schools, colleges, universities, and temples. And Sattvic monk, they are most of the time Jnana Mishra Bhakti, knowledge and devotion together. In Chanji, we find Divine Mother offered boon to the gods, being pleased with their prayer. Pranatanam prasida tvam devi vishwartharini Trilokavashinam ijje lokanam varada bhava. Beautiful. When Shumba and Nishumba are killed, the gods prayed to the Devi, the goddess, Divine Mother. Pranitam prasida Mother, be gracious unto us. You are the remover of all sufferings of humanity. Please, Varada Bhava, give us boon. In the first part of Chiranjeev, first prayer, he says, Briyatam Tridasha Sarve Asmatto Habivansitam. But I kill your enemies, what else do you want? So the God says, Sangsmrita Tvam no himseta paramapada. Mother, we are very happy that you killed our enemies, obstacles, difficulties. Only one prayer we have, that whenever we have trouble, whenever we shall think, please come and help us. That the gods asked the boon from the Divine Mother when Mahishasura was killed. Then when Shumba and Nishumba were killed, when Devi again offered boon, then he said, Oh Mother, you have destroyed our enemies and removed the troubles and obstacles of humanity. Please do it in the fullest, in the future also. In the future, when we will be troubled, again you come and help us, removing our obstacles and destroying our enemies. This, then Devi said, Ittham yada yada badha danavotta bhavishyati tada tada avatirjaham kurishami orisamshayam. Whenever the demoniacal power will rise, I shall incarnate, I shall come, and I shall destroy this demoniacal power. You know, last night I was reading Kaushitaki Upanishad. In that Kaushitaki Upanishad also, this question of boon came. King Pratardana was offered boon by Indra, the king of gods. Ask boon from me. I am very happy about your life and character. I don't need any boon. I am happy. I have no wants. But Indra said that if word came from my mouth, I want to give you a boon, I will have to. I cannot change my word. Then he said, please give that boon. You think what is good for me and good for humanity. You give that boon. Well, how do I know that what is good for you? Well, you know. So Indra was thinking, what boon shall I give to this king? Mamebo bijanihi etadevaham manushaya hitatamam manye. That is the boon he gave. Mamebo bijanihi, know me. Know me. And this would be the best thing for human beings. Do you know what that means? It means know thyself. If you know your Atman, that is the best boon we can have. That is the best thing will bring goodness to us. All right, if any of the gods come and offer boons, say, Lord, please do what is good to me. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matirupena Samastita Namastasya, 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 namo namah. I bow down to the Devi, who dwells in all human beings as a mother. I bow down to her again and again. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.